Well, that's simple. She's my.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Completithon 2025. My name is Jaxler, and I am sitting down here with one of our runners for this event, my good friend Coley, who's going to be showing off Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights All Monster Tokens. Coley, how are you doing, dude?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Cole, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about like Frights as a game, right? Because like Frights is kind of maybe a game that maybe not everyone has heard of. You know, it's a kind of hidden gem type of game. Can you tell everybody like what Frights is and kind of what it's about?
Yeah, so Frights is like the first Scooby game, and surprisingly, there have been Scooby games before, but it came out for the PlayStation 2 and then the GameCube and then the original Xbox, released in 2002, and it's basically like a Scooby 3D platformer collectathon Metroidvania kind of thing. And so the whole premise of the game is that all of the enemies that the Mystery Incorporated has faced has mysteriously come back, and they've taken Professor Alexander Graham hostage. And so it's up to Scooby to try and find them, who you're playing as. It was made by Heavy Iron Studios and published by THQ. And for those of you who know Heavy Iron, you might be more familiar with SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, and the movie game, as well as the Incredible games and stuff like that. They're very beloved. This was kind of the first game to run on like that engine that they all share.
Right.
So it's developed a bit of a cult following, and now the game is like 23 years old now, like almost to the day. So
you're making me feel old. Just the memories of playing. I had the PS2 version, so unfortunately, I mean,
oh yeah,
I had it a bit rough. Lucky. So, something I wanted to ask you as well is, you know, obviously, like, you know, cult classic type of game, but from a speed running wise, like, what drew you into like picking up this game and like getting into it from a speed running perspective?
So, what drew me in? Yeah, that's a good question. Well, basically, so I had a Wii when I was growing up, and my parents somehow discovered that GameCube games could be playing on it, and so that was one of the games I grew up with. But then my Wii got bricked, so like this update happened, and I think somebody turned it off when it was updating, and then it never worked again. So I graduated high school, and one of my graduation gifts was the laptop I'm using right now. And I graduated in 2020, so this thing is like really running on some
still going though.
yeah. But one of the first things I did was I got Dolphin Emulator, and I got a copy of the game, and I was like, let's just like replay the game again, you know? And so I played it and I beat it in like 8 days, and I thought it was gonna be like way harder than that, but I'm just a guy gamer. Like when I was a kid, I was just a scrub. And I was like, I just want to play this more, but I don't know what to do. And so I've heard of things like Zelda speedruns and Mario Kart time trials, and so I was like, what if I just look up Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights speedruns? And then I looked it up, and I found a runner named Baz, and I was like, this sounds crazy. They beat the game in like 30 minutes. And now we beat the game in under 15 minutes. And I didn't think it would be anything that I would still be doing like 5 years later. But I've just grown to love it. And I really like the self-improvement aspect of it, and like discovering things and finding things and being part of a community and showing it off to people like at this event. So it's always fun to see people react to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and especially when you are part of like maybe a community. I wouldn't say this like it's a smaller community, but it's a very much more tight-knit community because there are maybe less people who have heard of it, right? So it's probably easier to get kind of more like pulled into it as a result of that. So I know this is like, you know, this is like your big super passionate speed game, but I know you've run other games as well, and I kind of wanted to ask like what, as far as like Night of 100 Frights goes, like what makes this run like special, like compared to like other games, other platformers?
What makes this run special? I think the first thing that comes to mind is that this speed run is just super accessible and just has the crazy tricks to it as well. Like there's definitely harder tricks that a beginner shouldn't do, but like there's so many tutorials, and a lot of the tricks are actually pretty straightforward. It's nothing like where it's like you have to find like the correct save state from this other thing, and then like do ace and then do a backflip or whatever. Like it's pretty straightforward. and like the beginner route, you could still beat the game in under like an hour. Like it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And there's so many resources to go and to look at it as well. So I think that's like big incentive thing number one. And then the other thing is that it just looks so cool. Like it feels really good because there's so many parts of that game where you're like, I don't know what to do. Like I don't know where to go, and this is hard, and I don't know. But with like when you speedrun it, it's like you can just skip all the stuff that you really didn't even like. Like
Yeah, exactly.
There's like fishy levels are a classic example. That was with a lot of moving platforms and conveyor belts. It's really annoying for a casual player, but speedrunning it, you just skip it.
Yeah.
You're just done with it. So I would say those
Yeah.
are the main two things.
Yeah, and like speaking of like those tricks, like, you know, obviously we'll talk a little bit more about the category specifically, but like what like are there any like big like tricks or parts of the run that like you're really excited about, you love showing to people?
Big exciting moments. I'd say one of them is creepy early. That's like the big trick
Okay.
though. That's like the trick that
Yeah.
actually hasn't even been done in marathons that much. Because of when it was found.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
usually that was a trick that it used to be Xbox exclusive, and now it's on every console. And so that's also, it used to be kind of like a very dangerous trick, like you would not
Right.
marathon safe. But now like we've worked at it so much, we developed new techniques for it that like now we can be in marathons. So that's going to be super
Right.
exciting. But with the category that I'll be doing in
Mhm.
Completithon, it's such eye candy to look at how many different tricks there are. Like there's a point in the game where we skip like, or in any other category especially, it would skip like 70% of the game with just 4 ledges and like 6 double jumps, and that's it. And it's Redbeard skipping Greenbeard, and it's like so cool. I didn't mean like, yeah, I don't know, there's a lot to choose from, but I think creepy early is probably a big highlight, as well as just some new out of bounds that have been found where it's just like, oh, we're just on top of the level in this black void, and that's just weird, but we're here now. So
yeah, so and kind of going a bit further with that, you know, I know obviously for those who don't know, Cole and I are personal friends, but I know that, you know, like being in like marathon events isn't something that this is kind of like, I wouldn't say a new frontier for you, but definitely a little more outside of your comfort zone. You know, in addition to like some of this new stuff, like what has been kind of your, you know, motivation, especially with regards to like AMT? Like, why has this been so important for you to like push forward and show off to people?
yeah, why has this been important? Well, I think one thing is that this game, I just think that this game is really I just think this game has a really great speed game, but it just hasn't found all of the right people yet. Like I feel like there's just potential, and one of the best ways that you can showcase this game besides like YouTube videos is also getting into like these marathons. And also I find that like anytime that I've gotten to another speed game is because it's like I know somebody in that community, and then that kind of draws me in. So it's also nice to like, events like these are super fun where you can just like meet new, I mean obviously like in person is probably like super ultra better,
Sure,
but
yeah.
like events like these are really cool where you can kind of network with people and be like, oh wait, you run that game, like that sounds really crazy and cool, let me try that. And then like they come and you exchange ideas and stuff like that, and that's what forms like a really cool like speed run just general community.
Exactly.
And so that's why I've sort of delved into it, but I also want to get better at just like explaining the game to people in general.
Sure.
Because like I make these YouTube videos that are very very scripted, and I think about like really ahead of time what I say, but off the cuff, like if I'm streaming, I feel like I don't do as well.
Sure,
So this will
yeah.
kind of get me into a routine of like practicing that too, and like answering questions like right off the bat, and things like that, make it easier to comprehend. So
Yeah, exactly. And that's the awesome thing about, you know, things like Completithon. You know, we've got this opportunity not only to improve ourselves, but also improve ourselves while helping out a great cause. And speaking of,
yeah,
y'all, we are, like we've mentioned all throughout this week, we are raising money for Girls Make Games. We've got a ton more amazing runs coming up this week. Make sure you tune into Cole's run as well of, again, Scooby Night of 100 Frights, all monster tokens. I haven't said it yet, but I've run this. I also have run this game. I've run this category. You do not want to miss this run. There are so many bangers going on this week. And make sure you keep tuned in. And we've got some awesome incentives coming up too. So make sure y'all keep supporting Girls Make Games. Thank you all so much for continuing to donate and continuing to support this event. And hopefully we'll catch y'all when Scooby pops up on stream. See y'all soon.
Hello, everybody. We are Completithon. Hope you enjoyed that interview just now. We are setting up for our next run. All right, everybody. My time hosting has ended for today, but I'm going to be passing it on to the very capable and wonderful Speff, who will be your host for the next few runs. You can take it away. Make sure you give Speff a warm welcome, and I will see you tomorrow.
Hey, thank you so much for the lovely handoff. Hi, everyone. As mentioned before, I'm Speff. I'm back. I was here earlier today, and I'm really excited to be hanging out with y'all for the continuation of our little cartoony afternoon here. We've got Ed, and Eddie coming up next, so let's get everyone's love in chat for that incredible cartoon and all of the great nostalgic vibes that we've been feeling all afternoon so far. I'd love to remind everyone that Completithon 2025 is raising money for the Girls Make Games Scholarship Fund. And also, if you're just tuning in and don't know what Completithon is, especially since we're here on the No Glitches Allowed the Twitch channel, Completithon is a charity event dedicated to completionist speedruns. This includes 100% all collectibles or even categories where you collect all of a specific collectible, such as all red berries or all shrines, just to name a few. If you're interested in getting involved or finding out more, make sure to join our Discord and follow us on Twitter to get updates about future events. I believe you can also follow us on Blue Sky. I think we've got that set up now too. So just go find us on your social media of choice. At No Glitches Allowed is where we are hosting Completithon. So yeah, go give that a follow, check it out. We'll be talking about the runs all week to make sure you don't miss them, and also just giving you information about some other marathons and things that this organization is involved in. Also, as we're getting set up for this next run, I'd love to remind you all that we do have an open incentive right now that we are still making our way towards meeting. We're looking for some big heads. That's right. It sounds exactly like what it is. For our upcoming run, so after this one, we've got Incredible Crisis coming up next. And if you want to see some big ol' heads, we are currently going for a milestone incentive of, I believe, $1,111. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, because I need to go and find the reminder for what we're trying to hit. But please get your donations in and help us meet our milestone incentive in order to go and see some big ol' heads, because that's going to be really fun. I've been told that that game is incredibly silly and is going to be a great time, but let's make it an even memeier and even more fun time.